with me. So excited to speak with her today and kind of go through just a different branch of pharmacy, essentially. So seeing what it's like to be a pharmacy owner. So welcome to the channel, Nneka. Tell the people a bit about yourself, what you do, and just something else aside from pharmacy that they would like to know about you.
So my name is Nneka Ezurike, and like you mentioned, I'm a pharmacy owner, but I was born and raised in Halifax, Nova Scotia. My parents are from Nigeria. They immigrated about a year before I was born. I was born and raised there. I went to Dalhousie University and got my pharmacy degree there. And then I wanted to do something different. I was wanted to change. I was, had enough of Halifax. So that's when I moved to Ontario. And at that time I had a contract with Shoppers Drug Mart. And so I came over, I did my internship, got licensed, and then the opportunity came for me to become a pharmacy owner, which I'm sure we'll delve into in a bit. When about a year later, I pursued my PharmD through University of Florida, just because I knew a lot of the programs in Canada were switching to the PharmD program. So I wanted to stay competitive and just really improve my clinical knowledge. So I did that for 3 years, part-time while still working full-time. I'm very big on health and wellness and fitness. So I love working out. I used to do fitness competitions. My last competition was actually in 2018. Haven't competed since then, but we'll see what the future holds. I enjoy doing that in my spare time as well. So yeah.
Wow. You mentioned Dalhousie University. Where is that? Is that based in Canada or in the US?
Yeah, so that's in Canada. That's in Halifax, Nova Scotia. Yeah.
How long was that program?
So it was 4 years. You have to do at least 1 year undergrad. So I did 1 year of chemistry and then got in right after my first year. So in our class, there's about 90 students, and some people, there's a wide range, people that had degrees that were going back to school or did, a couple years of their undergrad before getting in. I managed to to get in after my first year. Now, mind you, my goal was actually med school. Surprise, surprise, coming from a Nigerian family, you know how it is. Being a doctor, a lawyer, engineer. So I had my heart out on being a pediatrician actually, but I knew I wanted to do something in the healthcare field. So I said, why don't I just do pharmacy instead of doing a Bachelor of Science? As kind of a backup. So I got into pharmacy, and then I actually, tried writing my MCAT, didn't do too well. So I said, let me just pursue pharmacy for now and see what the future holds. And then I loved it. And I decided to pursue my PharmD instead of pursuing the med school route. So
That's so interesting. So you mentioned a couple of interesting things. Most people who have been on here who studied in Canada done like an undergrad first, and then so they do like a full 3-year undergrad and then pharmacy school. So how come you got to just do the 1 year and go straight into pharmacy after that, the 1 year of chemistry?
So usually it's because it's very competitive to get in. So it's based like on your, your marks in school, the interview process. So honestly, I think it's just a blessing from God that I got in. But I managed to get it after my first year, which I give all the thanks to God.
One of the things I kind of preach a lot is if you want to do something, like stick to it, because I know people who like they want to do medicine and it's like they really want to do it, and then they go and do pharmacy, they don't like it as much, and then they spend maybe 4, 5 years, 6 years doing that degree, they don't like it, and then they end up going back to medicine anyway. So one of the things that I always encourage students to do is to, if you want to do medicine, just stick it out, even if that means taking a gap year, redoing your exams, getting better marks until you get into the university of choice. Do that. But for you, it's worked out that you went to pharmacy school, you loved it and enjoyed it. Have you ever looked back? Have you ever thought, maybe I should go back and do medicine? Maybe I want to, like, has that thought ever
passed? No, I think I made the deciding factor when I decided to do my PharmD, because that was kind of the point. I'm like, okay, do I pursue this or do I pursue med school? But being in the role that I was, and just seeing, yeah, the endless possibilities. I was just like, no, this is what I should be doing. So yeah, no regrets.
So just going into ownership. So you moved to Ontario. Did you work for a couple of years, or how did the ownership kind of fall into your lap?
So my journey as a pharmacy owner is a little unconventional, to be honest with you. So what happened was, at the time there was a need for pharmacists. So I signed a contract with Shoppers just to be a staff pharmacist for 2 years. And it was in a small little town. So I go there, I did my internship and became licensed. And then literally 2 weeks after I became licensed, I was actually approached by the recruitment of Shoppers, um, talent specialist, and basically said she heard good things about me and if I ever thought of becoming a pharmacy owner. And I was like, no, but sure, I'm open to it. So they kind of, helped me with the process to get my company incorporated. And literally I walk in one day and the owner at that time decided to pursue a different avenue and basically handed me the keys to the store. And I was the owner ever since. So yeah, that's not the typical route, especially in this day and age, but that's really how I became the pharmacy owner. And then really I was just learning on the job. So I didn't have any business background. In pharmacy school, they don't teach you, business at all. So it's really a lot of learning as I went. And with Shoppers, they do have this program called the LEAD program, where it kind of helps you to prepare to become a pharmacy owner. So I actually completed that program after I, became the owner. But I really found it's just learning as you go was what really really helped me and taught me the things that I know. It was definitely challenging. And I think, having the right people in place. So, knowing the staff, because I worked there as an intern, really made the transition easier for me. But typically how it would go about now, especially where it is much more competitive, I would recommend, being a pharmacy manager for the store to get that, leadership and experience, and then enroll in programs like the LEAD program that will help you prepare to become a pharmacy manager. And then after that, it's really just applying as positions and come about. Yeah.
Being like licensed and ownership at the same time is quite a big deal. So what year was this? Just out of curiosity, around what year?
So that was 2010. So I've been doing this for about 11 and a half years now. Yeah, I know. I think about that and I'm like, oh my gosh, time flies. But and the funny thing is, I'm still learning. I'm still learning, and it's always evolving, this role. So it's it's always changing, and it always keeps you on your toes for sure.
What would you say are some of the, I guess, in the beginning? So let's look at it from two different angles. So what were the challenges at the beginning, in the sense of like being a new pharmacist and an owner at the same time? What would you say were the challenges, and what did you do to overcome some of those challenges?
Okay, I think the biggest challenge was actually just learning the business aspect role of it. So, managing people, I think was the biggest challenge. There's always something happening, and it's how do you manage those situations with staff members, and then managing the business in terms of your targets that you have to meet, your sales, how do you motivate your team to meet those metrics. And then in terms of just the pharmacist side, is actually just being a pharmacist, being newly licensed, building that confidence in myself, and, working in a small town, being a young Black female, had its own challenges as well. So, but really, I think it's just, again, having the right people around you that, want you to succeed, kind of see that potential in yourself, even when I didn't see it in myself at that time. And then just trusting in myself and really just working hard, really, to
so through any, like, aside from, I guess, the training that Shoppers offered you, is there something that you done, like, in your own time, or did you take out any specific time for yourself to kind of grow in certain, like, areas and not knowledge wise?
I guess For the business side, I would have to say no. I didn't do really any additional training. Again, I just kind of learned as I went. I did get my CDE, my Certified Diabetes Educator certification. So I did do that, and other like continuing education things with regards to pharmacy, but really that's probably about it. Yeah.
Would you say that I've heard so many different aspects of this. Is it worth it to own? Is it not worth it? Financially, does it make sense? Mental health wise, and I guess work-life balance wise, does it make sense? Is it something that people should still pursue?
Right. So I guess it's not for everyone.
Yeah.
You know, there's some pharmacists out there that just want to work their, 9 to 5 and, call it a day after that. And again, every associate owner is what we call ourselves. Everyone's different, right? I'm very engaged in my business. So I'm always kind of hands-on and I'm always accessible to my staff. So that does tend to, affect the work-life balance part of it, but I see the long-term benefit of that.
Yeah.
Financially, so the model with Shoppers Drug Mart is a bit different. So it's not like a Tim Hortons where you have to kind of invest money in the business right off the bat. So you don't have to put any of your own money into it. So the franchise model is a bit unique. Yeah. And then with regards to the benefits of it, yes, there is, a financial benefit. Now you don't get all the profits from the store. A lot does go to central office, but you do get a portion of it, which you wouldn't get as like, a regular staff pharmacist. So I think the benefit financially is definitely there. Now, some people may say it's not worth the headaches that you have to go through. I know with the past 2 years with the pandemic, it has been hard because the services that we provide in the store has grown exponentially. So the evolving role. And then again, we've had a shortage of pharmacists. So the workload has definitely been a lot the past 2 years, but it's also grown our profession so much. Yeah. And I know like the stress and the workload is not always going to be as it was in the past 2 years. So it's kind of getting through that and knowing that this has opened so many more doors in terms of pharmacy practice. And, that we're actually being seen now as valuable healthcare professionals. So that's the way I look at it. And again, like I'm very passionate about expanded scope and yeah, so it is a lot of work. I have made sacrifices in the past, may have taken, prioritized work over other aspects. Yeah. But now I'm kind of realizing, I need to have that balance and I'm striving towards that. Yeah. My physical and mental well-being needs to be priority in order for me to work to my best ability, right? So like they say, you can't pour from an empty cup. Yeah. So I'm definitely working towards, having more of a work-life balance. And, I think my staff support that and they know, it's now that I have 3 stores, I'm less involved in the day-to-day, activities of the store. And I'm now kind of like more so overseeing and kind of managing the people. Yeah. And to be honest, that gives me more flexibility with my schedule.
So I think that, as I said, leads to my next question in regards to, do you work solely as, the owner, entrepreneur, or do you also have days where you have to be pharmacist and the pharmacist for the day? Does that happen?
Yeah, so part of our, I would say, agreement is that we do have to dispense in the pharmacy. So as a pharmacy owner, we have to dispense like 28 hours in the pharmacy, like as a pharmacist per week. Yeah, there is some flexibility with that, but generally that's the agreement. And again, I think it's too because you have to know what's going on in your business. Get to know the patients. We're still a pharmacist at the end of the day, so to maintain our license, we still have to be practicing. But I find for me, like now having 3 stores, I'm not dispensing as much, and it's more so kind of managing the businesses. But yeah, I'm still in there in the pharmacy. I'm doing injections, I'm doing the testing, I'm doing everything. And again, I enjoy that, that aspect as well, and interacting with patients. And
Wow. So how do you deal with complaints, and because I think that's one of the biggest, I think most of my YouTube audience know that I'm quite, I mean, you know, as you said, not everything is for everyone. So I am very, you know, hospital pharmacy kind of clinical area, an area where I can work much slower in the sense that I can essentially take my time to look at things. And, you know, I can work in retail, I can work in an environment where things are fast paced, but not necessarily where the pressure is so much that causes I know some of my colleagues also have like this retail anxiety, in the sense that people are more, I feel like in retail, people complain more than they would in hospital. So how do you deal with that, especially being the owner of 3 different stores? You might not be the pharmacist working on the day, you might have pharmacy managers, but I'm sure that most of those things still come, you know, to you. How do you kind of deal with that and balance that? And do you have any form of like nervousness, anxiety around like people making complaints?
Yes. I think it's inevitable. And I think, you know, pharmacists, we do make mistakes. We're human. But I think when I do get a complaint, it's just like I get a variety. So following up with the patient, depending on what the resolving it, or seeing what we can do to mitigate the situation, or could be a learning opportunity for the future. So yeah, I mean, they do happen. I wouldn't say it's often, but it can be due to a variety of factors. So it's kind of seeing what the root cause is and resolving that, and then just making a learning opportunity for the future. I think, yeah, but it is inevitable. But I think too, every store is different. So there's some stores that, you know, aren't as busy, they're very low volume. The demographic also, I think, plays a factor. I find downtown stores, it's very fast paced, you know, people just want to be in and out, whereas, you know, more on the outskirts, if you're in a more suburban area, it could be like more seniors where they're willing to wait, or they just want to come in and chat with you. And, you know, so I think, you know, every store is different and has its own, you know, different workflow and dynamics. But that's how I would, you know, approach any issue or, you know, complaint or mistake, is not to play like the blame game, even if I wasn't involved, but just make it like a learning opportunity, and just, you know, make sure the patient is happy with the outcome of it. So
I guess in regards to being a Black woman, you know, climbing up the ladder and being in this position, was it challenging to get to where you are? And was it something that you struggled with? Did you see any kind of like, you know, resistance? Did you experience anything like that? And how did you, I guess, jump over those hurdles?
So I think it's difficult because there's not too many of us, right? So I'm very passionate about like women in leadership. I'm involved in that initiative within Shoppers. So have I experienced hurdles? Yes. From patients, you know, not thinking I'm the pharmacist, or, you know, questioning my recommendations or what I'm telling them, to even pursuing opportunities for within the Shoppers, you know, and having that resistance. And whether, you know, having one door closed, I would always just look at this opportunity that, you know what, something better is coming. Yeah, you know, I'm human. I take things personal sometimes. But for me, it's kind of like, you know what, okay, this didn't happen. Let me continue pushing through, and just continue working my best and with integrity, and, you know, something better is going to come along. So it's been a journey. But like when I came from my small town in Bowmanville to Yorkdale, I mean, there was 40 interviews that they did, interviews, not even applicants, just interviews that they did. And I think I was like the first one that they interviewed. So I was like, oh gosh, they're going to forget about me. Like, this is a done deal. And I got it, right? So, but before that, I applied for other stores and I didn't get it, right? So, and, you know, I had to overcome many other obstacles with that situation. So yeah, I think for me, it's more so just knowing that if something doesn't happen, it's for a reason. and just kind of keep pushing through, and just letting my character show who I really am. And even if I'm mistreated for whatever reason, I find that, if I just work with integrity and continue doing what I know is best, that in the end, it will work out in my favor.
Yeah,
so
I feel like it's definitely encouraging to hear because, yeah, as you said, as humans, we internalize a lot of things and we think, oh, is it me? Something didn't happen. Is it like because of my skills, because I'm, so-and-so, or because I haven't done this? For me, like in the most recent years, it's like, oh, is it because I don't have as much Canadian experience and all kind of stuff? But as you said, like when one door closes, just wasn't meant to happen, and something better is coming. And remembering to continue with integrity, continue to work as hard as you do work, and just keeping that kind of good character, in the open. Another thing that I feel like is important is, and I discussed this with one of my other guests, is, being able to understand that whether or not you believe it, people actually are watching, in the sense that there might be somebody who you interviewed with maybe a few years ago, and they may have not given you the job at the time, but they remember you, right? They see what you've done at the time, that if you work with them, if you've done an internship, whatever it is, people actually don't forget. And with the world of pharmacy, it's quite small, and with like LinkedIn and all the different networking, resources out there now, it's very important to just, as you said, keep up the integrity and keep working hard, because people are watching, whether you believe it or not.
One thing you mentioned about networking, I think, honestly, if there's one thing that I could strongly suggest, and I wish I established earlier on in my career, was a mentor or a coach. So like when I started, I was all alone. I had people I would reach out if I had questions, or, like I look up to, but I never really had someone I could call and kind of have these real, raw, honest conversations with, or were in my, situation previous to me, can kind of guide me and help me navigate, any obstacles that I may overcome. So I think one thing for me is like, I wish I established, having a mentor or a coach. And it was actually last year I was connected with someone and she was able to kind of mentor me before I got these 2 additional stores, because she had, more than one store before. So she kind of was giving me advice, and, and I think that's just so, so important. And so, for anyone that's, aspiring to become a pharmacy manager, a pharmacy owner, just network and, reach out to someone that, has been in your shoes. So I think it's so, so important.
Again, when you're looking for who you want to mentor you, it's important to go for people who are doing what you're doing, who are doing what you want to do already, and people who you see are successful in that area. It doesn't mean that they're perfect or their journey is perfect, but they've journeyed through the path that you are journeying through. And I think the importance of mentorship, and I think this applies to every area of our lives, right? The importance of mentorship is to make sure that you avoid mistakes that maybe other people have made, and you can get that advice and that guided direction. I think that's so important. So for anyone who might be interested in having a mentor, my question for you is that something that you do? And how can people reach out to you? Even if it's just for questions, how can people connect with you?
I mean, see my LinkedIn, of course. They can connect with me there. I think that would probably be the best way to. They can also email me, and I can provide you that information through one of my stores that I have as well, because I check that often. And yeah, I'm always open, to helping, like-minded people. With Shoppers Drug Mart, like I said, I'm with part of the Women in Leadership for Associates initiative. And also I mentor pharmacists that are aspiring to become pharmacy owners as well, through a program that they have too. So I'm always open to, helping others, avoid mistakes that I may have made in the past. And I've seen the benefit of having a mentor. So to be able to, be a mentor for someone else and help them achieve their goals, I think is great. So before I go, I just wanted to give one piece of advice to anyone that wants to become a pharmacy owner, a manager, really any goal, is to take a chance on yourself. I find we, as females, especially Black females, we suffer from imposter syndrome. I know I do at times as well. We think we don't have the right skills, the right abilities, or it's not the perfect time. But personally, I don't think there really is a perfect time. I think if you accept that, you're going to make mistakes along the way, there's going to be challenges, but it's these experiences that will kind of make you stronger, and you're going to come out better because of it. So I just wanted to stress that take a chance on yourself, go for the opportunities when they present itself. And if you aspire to do something and you're passionate about it, just go for it. And I think, if you have people around you that support you and motivate you, the sky's the limit and you can achieve anything. So
thank you so much for adding that. That's actually so important. And I think what you said about accepting the fact that there will be mistakes along the way, reminding ourselves to not internalize those mistakes. And I say that because I do that all the time. And this is one of the reasons why I struggle with working in certain environments, because you internalize, why did I do that? How did I allow that to happen? Oh my goodness, I can't believe I missed that. Oh my goodness, I can't believe, but I already knew. Like, you just go round and round in circles. And as you said, it brings you to a place where you actually can't move forward when you start to go around with those thoughts and those, those why questions, essentially. So I think not internalizing those mistakes and being like, it's okay to fail. Like, the next step is to get up and just keep going. So thank you so much for that encouragement. Really, really appreciate you again. And as I said, if you want to catch Nneka, please add her on LinkedIn and connect with her. Thank you guys again so much.
Thank you.